Now that we have your attention, if everybody will be seated, we will get started with our STEM literacy theme this morning. Can you guess that STEM is our theme? Welcome to our 7th annual Light of Literacy Breakfast. The Friends of Wicomico Public Library are proud to have this opportunity to highlight the importance of literacy and to recognize some of the many contributions made by individuals and organizations in our community. In recent years, we've chosen to add a specific literacy theme and a corresponding award, and we have highlighted financial literacy, health literacy, but this year our theme is STEM literacy, science, technology, engineering, and math, to help celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing. We hope that you will decide to join Friends of Wicomico Public Libraries as members and help in our efforts to support our community library with programs and materials. Our membership table is just inside the door, and we're eager to accept new members today. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our event chair. Currently, the Secretary of the Library's Board of Trustees and the Treasurer of Friends of the Libraries. Mrs. Orr is also the Board of Directors for Bayshore Services and the Community Advisory Board for Deer's Head Hospital. She's a past president for the Rotary Club of Salisbury. This is her 5th year with the Light of Literacy Awards. And over those years, Audrey's leadership and dedication to this event has made it into a true celebration of the positive, successful initiatives in our community. Please join me in welcoming Audrey Orr.
Oh, thank you, Susan, and good morning, everyone. That sounded pretty good. Thank you for making time to be with us today. This morning's program captures just some of the extraordinary contributions being made by members of our community to promote literacy. It will also highlight how early exposure to reading sparks curiosity, creativity, and independence that leads to academic and career success. By attending this event, and helping us recognize the nominees, you are demonstrating your own personal commitment to promoting literacy, and I thank you for that. We have a number, as you came through the lobby this morning, you saw a few of the programs and activities that are available in the library, and many of the professionals that make these possible are with us today. So I would ask that all the staff members of the library that are present today, if they could stand and give them a round of applause for all the work they do. They're in the back. They usually are very shy, so please stand. Thank you. Do that. And I want to give a special thank you to our volunteer coordinator, Tia Bigelow, IT manager, Sean Stearns, our marketing and communication manager, Sam Gibson, who, by the way, is hiding behind the curtain. Also, as you met coming in, no doubt, Courtney Armstrong, the manager of our program and events coordinator, and the manager of our center branch, Stephanie Daisy, for their specific assistance in organizing this morning's event. I also want to thank our Board of Trustees, and I would ask those who are present this morning to please stand. Do that. I know you're here. Thank you. Do that. These individuals provide direction, insight, and oversight, keep the library on course, and will make sure that our community knows how important it is to have a well-run library. There they are. Also joining us today are a number of members of our Eastern Shore delegation, and also from the City Council or County Councils, as well as some other representatives. I know from the Maryland State, because I was trying to catch people as they came in, Carl Anderson is with us. Carl, wave. Thank you. Wayne Hartman could not be here, but Emily Knock is here representing him. Emily, I've lost track of where you are. Hi. And any other from the state delegates. I know our state senators are here. Addie Eckert. Addie, thank you. And Mary Beth Carroza has joined us again. There she is. We sort of scattered everybody around to get people awake and looking. From the city of Salisbury, I don't believe the mayor could join us this morning, but I know I saw Muir Boda. Muir, I've lost track of, there you are, hi. And April Jackson is with us, there. And I don't know if Jack Heath made it, but anyone else from the city that I've missed? Thank you. From the county council, our county council president, John Kanan, is with us. John, thank you. And also, Josh Hastings is here. Josh. Anyone else from county council? There's, thank you. And we have with us as well a number of people representing the educational community. Dr. Donna Hanlon is with us. Donna, you there? And also from Salisbury University, I don't know if Dr. White had gotten here yet. He planned on, hi, good, see you. I know he planned on joining us. And also from College Park, we have Miss Allie Valentine, who's the Assistant Director of Operations from the University of Maryland Extension. Thank you, Allie. We also have with us, I'm delighted to say, want to welcome our previous former executive director, Andrea Birchler of Wicomico Public Libraries, who made the trek back here from her new library system in Carroll County. And Tom Heyman joined us as well. Tom, thank you. Tom, as many of you know, Tom was also a past executive director of the Wicomico County Libraries. Also want to thank our sponsors. There. And because frankly, without their support, this morning's event would not be possible. You'll see their names in the printed program. You'll also see them on the slides as they present awards during the event. And please, as you visit their businesses, take a moment to thank them for their support of this program and all their work in promoting literacy in our community. At this time, I would like to ask Reverend Howard Travers to join me on stage. And would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Oops. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please remain standing as Reverend Travers of the Eden United Methodist Church leads us in the invocation.
Good morning. Would you join me in prayer? Almighty Creator, we praise you for the many gifts you provide us. It is truly your love and your spirit that unites our community. We are a community where people of many cultures, many races, religions, and lifestyles find a home. We are especially thankful today for the power unlocked by a brain decoding symbols. We are thankful for our ability to read and for those who invested time in teaching us. The ability to read gives us the ability to advance beyond poverty, to learn what those near us do not know, to discover ideas that may be hidden, and to unleash our potential. We gather today to recognize those luminaries in our community whose actions demonstrate this deep understanding of the transformational power of literacy in the lives of others. They are our heroes. They light the way by their work and by their example, and for them, we're thankful. Inspired by them, may our work and efforts continue to be a reminder of our interconnectedness with all your beloved children. We humbly ask that you would further open our eyes to see the needs of this community. May we be mindful of those who go without each and every day, whose needs far exceed our own. Help us to provide the resources needed for our brothers and sisters burdened by the suffering caused by poverty and oppression. Cleanse our ears to hear the cries of the poor. Anoint us to be instruments in fulfilling your justice. And may we commit to further embracing literacy initiatives. Let us provide the ability to change the world for someone else. May our time here this morning be meaningful for each of us. May we be blessed with insight and guided by an understanding heart. And may our personal faiths give us strength to witness with courage to the challenges before us. May we recognize who and what we can become when we work together for the rights and needs of both individuals and the community. Bless our efforts as we work to have the neighborhood of our sacred universe carried and treasured and embraced inside all of us, so that all may be one for a future yet to come. Bless this food. Bless those who receive it. In your name we ask these things. Amen. Amen.
All right. When you have a chance, please review the Friends membership material, and I join Susan Bounds in asking you to seriously consider becoming a friend to help support the library programs, many of which are highlighted on the banners and tables as you saw as you came in. Now, time for breakfast. And as you know, the Civic Center, we can always rely on them for a wonderful breakfast. And as in the past, the Civic Center staff will stop by your table and direct you to the buffet. So enjoy your breakfast, and we'll be back shortly. And at this point, last year, for those of you who are with us, we were delighted to have Mr. Stephen Leonard, President and CEO of Peninsula Regional Medical Center, introduce support for a health literacy initiative. So we thought that this morning would be a good opportunity to bring you up to date with the progress that's been made with that program. So I would like you all to please welcome the coalition coordinators, Tracy Ritter from United Way Lower Eastern Shore. Tracy, please join us on stage. And Dr. Catherine Fiddler from PRMC. Catherine, please join us.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. So I grew up loving books. Apparently, there's this story my mom tells me when I was about 3, I was reading a book and ripping the pages out of it, and I got in really big trouble. And so from then on, I did everything I could to take care of books. I realized they were very important. I got a long lecture that day. And so in my house, I had a library, and I wouldn't let anyone borrow my books unless they signed it out, and I had it all in the Dewey Decimal System and all that. It is still a family joke. My husband still makes fun of me. But it is a passion of mine. I love to read and I love books, and so having the opportunity to take Steve's vision from last year and move this forward to today has been a wonderful opportunity. Hold on one second. I just got to get my phone and my script. So why did we start this? So according to the National Association of Health Literacy, only 12% of us, of all of us in the nation, have adequate health literacy. That means the vast majority don't. So we may not have the skills to manage our health. We know that this limited health literacy is linked to poor health outcomes, negative use of preventive service, and exceptionally poor chronic disease management. People of all ages and all demographics are affected by this, and we believe that we can do things better here on the Eastern Shore. So back in 2016, with an understanding of the impact of the lack of health literacy, a partnership was formed with the United Way of the Lower Eastern Shore, Peninsula Regional Health System, SU, and Beacon to evaluate health literacy in our community, identify the gaps, and provide resources and programming to support improved health. A curriculum was developed and piloted with 3 United Way agencies. Since completion of that project, Peninsula Regional Health System provided funding to support a program coordinator, Tracy Ritter, to research various successful health literacy programs, meet with community agencies, organizations, and healthcare systems, and assess the gaps in potential programming to address those gaps. Our goal is to help our community, to improve health literacy, to improve access, and help individuals in this community participate actively in their health care to improve outcomes. So I'd like to introduce you to the coordinator of our health literacy project, Ms. Tracy Ritter.
It's a pleasure to be here, and we're very excited about the Wellness Made Easy initiative. The mission of this initiative is to share developmentally, culturally, and linguistically appropriate health education via multiple outlets to support healthy living on the Lower Eastern Shore. So that's a mouthful. So let me explain that a little bit more in a practical sense. So health literacy is often confused with general literacy, which is understood to be the ability to speak, listen, process information, make decisions, and solve problems. So when you apply this to a health context, such as reading a nutrition label or making a decision to get a flu shot, it's called health literacy. It also includes the skills and knowledge that we have about a wide range of health topics. But it also includes, as you can see in the slide behind me, a person's support systems, their cultural influences, their financial stability, and how to use the medical system itself. And it also includes the access to care and the barriers to the accessing that care. And health education plays a tremendous role because that would lead to prevention and improved health overall. So in other words, health literacy is the degree to which individuals and their families have the capacity to obtain, process, but understand basic health information and services, to make appropriate health decisions and act on that information, as well as accessing and then navigating our healthcare system, as we all know, can sometimes be a bit of a challenge. The American Medical Association reports that poor health literacy is a stronger predictor of a person's health than age, income, employment status, education level, race, and estimates 90 million low health literate Americans from all walks of life. The Agency for Healthcare and Research and Quality states that 9 out of 10 adults have difficulty using everyday health information and lack the knowledge and skills to manage their health and prevent disease. Limited health literacy is also associated with poor health outcomes and higher costs within the system. So for all these reasons and more, we are committed to supporting health literacy for the Lower Shore. Improved health literacy can help individuals and families in our communities to experience increased competency and confidence to access and implement health information needed to promote healthy behaviors and make appropriate health decisions, and increase capacity to prevent disease and illness through self-care and chronic disease management, and increase appropriate access to the healthcare system itself. That ripple effect will reduce the misuse of the system, reduce costs within the healthcare system, promote a healthier workforce and reduction of lost time at work and school, which then leads to improved financial stability for families and reduction of lost wages and healthcare costs. So we have a lot of work to do, no doubt.
But we are excited to get started. So what's our way forward? We're going to be having a stakeholder strategic planning meeting in the next week to take the information that we've learned over the past year about resources, gaps, and opportunities, and we're going to build a 3-year strategic plan with specific operational plans to start this work on improving health literacy here on the shore. We will continue with the development of the Wellness Made Easy for our community, to include health literacy collections for our library, a potential health literacy app, and other technologies that can provide tools for service providers and our community individuals. We have a lot of work ahead of us, but I am certain we can do it. And as the words of Margaret Mead said, never doubt that a thoughtful group of committed citizens can change the world, because indeed it's the only thing that ever has. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Tracy and Catherine. Now it's my great pleasure to welcome our MC. Dr. Scott Duncan graduated from Dickinson College with a bachelor's in economics, and he joined the Peace Corps as a volunteer in Thailand. Thus began a long romance with international work and travel. Dr. Duncan has his PhD in anthropology from the University of California at Los Angeles, and has served on the staff of the Sloan School of Management at MIT. He has overseen the Peace Corps operations as a country director in Sri Lanka, the Philippines, and the Republic of Georgia. Scott Duncan moved to Salisbury area following his retirement and joined the Wicomico Library Board of Trustees shortly thereafter. He currently serves as our treasurer. He and his wife, Kat Harding, Kat, I know you're here. Wave, there you are. He and his wife, Kat, reside in Quantico. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Scott Duncan.
Thank you, Audrey, and welcome to all of you in the audience today. It's been my privilege to be associated with this event, the Light of Literacy Awards, for 7 years now, and it is something I always look forward to. Mostly, I like having a connection with the great number of really extraordinary people who have been featured here over the years as literacy luminaries. These are people and organizations in our county who have accomplished so much by their tireless efforts, often working without compensation or recognition, simply doing good things for those who need help or for the betterment of our community. You'll be meeting more of these extraordinary people in just a few moments. By the way, that phrase, simply doing good for those who need help and for the betterment of our community, is also an apt description for the Wicomico Public Libraries. The library is a treasure in our community. Just read some of the newsletters to see the range of programs and services that it offers. You might consider becoming a friend of the library to help us advocate for more recognition of the library's role and better funding to keep the good work going. Now, let's get to the awards. First, I'd like to introduce Erica Murphy from WMDT 47 ABC. She will be reading excerpts from each of the nominations. Will Susan Bounds please join me on stage? Susan is a member of the library's Board of Trustees and chair of the Friends of Wicomico Public Libraries. She will be assisting the award sponsors in making today's presentations. My job is to get you out of here by 10 o'clock, so we're going to be doing it, man. First is the organizational luminary. I'll do that later. We will begin with the Organization Luminary Award, sponsored by the Richard A. Henson Foundation. Will their representative please join us on stage? As Erica reads sections of their nominations, we ask that our nominees please stand and remain standing, and that you hold your applause until all nominees are announced. First, the Phoenix Youth Project.
Through poetry and other creative writing ventures, Amber Green and the Phoenix Youth Project challenge local middle and high school students to address serious issues facing them and their communities. Participants engage in a variety of mediated discussions, writing workshops, and poetry readings. Through these activities, students are led to the recognition and awareness that a single voice has power and meaning.
Eastern Shore Literary Association.
The Eastern Shore Literacy Association is an organization active in promoting literacy to people all across the Eastern Shore through a variety of outreach programs like the Young Authors Contest and the annual Barbara S. Davis Memorial Scholarship for high school students wishing to pursue teaching careers. The association encourages participant awareness of the latest developments in literacy education and the latest strategies and practices for teaching reading.
University of Maryland Extension.
Flipping the page here. Although it's generally known for the services and information it provides to the agricultural community, the Extension Service also offers a variety of programs that are beneficial to the greater community. These programs include 4-H Youth Development, which offers area young people hands-on learning experiences in STEM activities like robotics, aerospace, marine biology, geology, and climate science. Participants are also introduced to nutritional literacy essential to achieving a healthy lifestyle. Another important part of the Extension Service is Family and Consumer Sciences, which offers stress management and for those recovering from opioid addiction, and financial literacy classes for people entering or re-entering the workforce.
Avery Hall Insurance Group.
Avery Hall Insurance believes that reaching children at a young age to make an impact on the importance of literacy as well as finances will help to benefit our entire community. The organization works on a volunteer basis to help second graders of Beaver Run Elementary School through the Junior Achievement Program, our community, as well as the United Way's Read to Succeed program to students at Glen Avenue Elementary School. Through these programs and more, they hope to instill the importance of reading, education, and finances.
Youth Innovation Academy of the Center for Lifelong Learning at Salisbury University.
The Youth Innovation Academy at Salisbury University's Center for Lifelong Learning is directed by Chris Egan and Mary Angela Baker. The program started as a female-only initiative for middle school girls designed to enhance their confidence, their curiosity, initiative to promote innovative and leadership skills, particularly in the STEM disciplines. This summer, the Academy will also offer a program for boys with a similar supportive and creative environment.
Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore.
The Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore consistently supports initiatives to improve the literacy of our community and encourages other organizations to do the same. The Foundation's Reading Forever initiative, an annual grant-making program whereby 27 schools across Wicomico County get annual funding for books to add to their libraries and classroom collections, but it's also one example of the Foundation's enhancement and support of literacy.
MAC Incorporated.
MAC, Maintaining Active Citizens, provides programs for active citizens who are 55 years or older, designed to enable the preservation of personal dignity and the maintenance of health and independence. The MAC program provides a wide variety of services, including trained counselors who can provide clear and reliable information on Medicare, Medicaid, prescription plans, and long-term care insurance. Legal assistance is also available to assist in interpreting billing, claims, and other issues, senior rights, government benefits, and consumer protection. Other benefits include computer literacy classes and many training sessions on practical concerns related to independent living.
Please join me in congratulating all of the nominees. The award for this year's organization Luminary is presented by Stephen R. Farrow, Chairman of the Richard A. Henson Foundation. We have two awards.
Okay, we are pleased to announce that this year we have a tie in awarding 2 organization Luminary Awards. These awards, in no particular order, go to first, the University of Maryland Extension.
Hi, my name is Karen Vetterson. I'm the Area Extension Director with University of Maryland Extension for Wicomico, Worcester, and Somerset counties. We are the non-formal educational branch of the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources out of College Park. We provide non-formal science-based information to our community to help them improve their lives and help themselves and solve their problems. We offer financial literacy programs, we have 4-H youth development, agricultural best practices, health and wellness, nutrition education, all things that will help our community strengthen and grow. We encourage the entire community to check out our webpage and come to our offices to see all of our great programs we offer in these areas. Thank you.
And the second award goes to MAC.
Good morning, I'm Patty Tingle, and I'm the Executive Director of MAC Incorporated. The goal at MAC Incorporated is to encourage older Americans to connect, create, and contribute. Connect to resources, learn more about what is in the community and how to access those resources. Create by participating in classes, learn new skills, participate in fitness programs, encourage creativity through art and other leisure activities, and then contribute. Contribute by participating in volunteer activities and learning from younger people in intergenerational programs here at MAC. Literacy plays a vital role in thriving for all ages, thriving for seniors in particular, to connect with our communities and to remain engaged. And thank you for this wonderful opportunity. We are indeed honored and count it a privilege to be recognized.
I want to mention that in addition to the awards that you see on the table up here, we have a number of citations and proclamations that have come in, which are presented to each of the winners. One from Governor Hogan's office, one from Senator Ben Cardin's office, one from Senator Chris Van Hollen's office, one from the Maryland General Assembly, which is sponsored by Mary Beth Carrozza, Addie Eckert, Carl Anderton, Johnny Motz, Chris Adams, Sherry Sample Hughes, and Wayne Hartman, and one from the Wicomico County Council, and another from the city of Salisbury. Next is the Higher Education Luminary Award. The Higher Education Luminary Award is sponsored by Salisbury Apartments. Will their representative please join us on stage? And as I said before, will all the nominees please rise when I announce your name, and hold your applause until all are announced. The first is Dr. Anjali Pandey.
Dr. Pandey is the project director and developer of the Target program at Salisbury University. She founded and continues to direct the program, which is funded by a national grant enabling teachers to attend free of charge. The mission of the Target program is to train and retrain teachers to work with students for whom English is a foreign language, and to enhance that reading, writing, speaking, and cultural recognition skills of those students.
Susie McKean.
Susie McKean, along with her colleague Dr. Sheila Basavuran, has developed an effective method for meeting the academic literacy needs of those who do not yet have the reading and writing skills to assess college-level credit courses. The English 087 course at Warwick takes an approach far different from traditional classes by employing a design and delivery that combines online and in-person instruction. It enables students to work at a more relaxed pace and to develop the necessary confidence to succeed.
Dr. Kumi Kim.
Dr. Kim developed the Emma Lab at Salisbury University. This lab provides important research on reading and provides evidence on how the eye-brain function works to affect meaning construction and to determine how diverse readers from elementary to adult readers navigate various genres of text from elementary to, notably in STEM disciplines. Dr. Kim has shared the results of her research in the reading process with Project Read tutors and community teachers.
The award for this year's Higher Education Luminary is presented by Megan McAuliffe from Salisbury Apartments.
Salisbury Apartments is proud to present this year's Higher Education Luminary Award to Dr. Pandey.
Good afternoon, or good morning, everyone, and thank you, first of all, for this wonderful nomination. I'm beholden to all of the students who nominated me for this award, and for the organizers of this award ceremony for taking the time to look through the applications. My name is Anjali Pandey. I'm a professor in applied linguistics TESOL at Salisbury University, and when I have to describe who I am, I would say I'm a teacher first and foremost. Teaching is part of my blood, and I wouldn't be able to live in life without being able to teach. I'm currently at Salisbury University. I am part of the faculty in the TESOL Applied Linguistics program, and I'm also project director of the Target Phase 3 program. This program is the fourth in a number of projects that I have authored and administered, and this particular project I'm really happy to note brings the number of teachers that we have trained regarding literacy practices to approximately 500. Our project serves 10 independent school districts on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, an area spanning approximately 150 schools. And our whole goal is to blend linguistics training with literacy acquisition. One of our major goals is to try and emphasize that in the 21st century, the role of teachers is towards language retention. Approximately 300 languages enter the United States each year. And the role of teachers is to not just ensure that children are able to read and write in English, but are able to be proud of and maintain their home languages and their home backgrounds. So most of our teachers receive intensive training on ways to sort of augment and enhance the literacy backgrounds of their students.
The Student Luminary Award is sponsored by Avery Hall Insurance Group. Will their representative please join us on stage? First is Ben Paraboom.
Ben Paraboom is currently a junior at Salisbury University. He has for the past 3 years been active with Students Helping Honduras. It's an international organization working to alleviate poverty and violence through education and constructive youth activities. Ben has completed 4 service trips to Honduras, helping to build schools and to work with a bilingual school established by SHH back in 2012. With the assistance of St. Albans Church, Ben has raised almost $10,000 in the last 3 years, in addition to contributing considerable sweat equity in support of the SHH mission.
Eleanor Brown.
Eleanor Brown effectively balances her passion for learning with service for others. The best way to describe her is to simply list some of her many activities and accomplishments. Recipient of the Gold Award, the Girl Scouts' highest honor, Girl Scout Congressional Aide on Capitol Hill, book discussion leader at ECI, advocate for incarceration reform, integral part of the Salisbury University Student United Way, serving as club president for the 2017-2018 season, Habitat for Humanity volunteer with children's programs in South Africa, India, and Thailand. She is a recipient of multiple certificates recognizing her service from the Governor's Office of Volunteerism.
Kirsten Carpenter.
8th grader Kirsten Carpenter became aware of how little reading elementary school students did when they were not in the classroom. So many students came from schools or from homes that had few, if any, books. She was determined to find a way to provide age-appropriate material for their summer reading. To this end, she organized the Book It 5K with an entry fee of 1 age-appropriate book. She created flyers and advertised on social media and delivered those books to area schools. Currently a high school freshman, Kirsten has planned another Book It 5K for May 11th.
Presenting the award for this year's Student Luminary Award is Kevin Hayes from Avery Hall Insurance Group. Eleanor Brown is unable to be here. She's in prison. Actually, more specifically, she's teaching her class at ECI.
Regardless, Avery Hall is proud to present the Student Luminary Award to Eleanor Brown.
Good morning, my name is Eleanor Brown. I'm a social work and political science student at Salisbury University. For the past 3 years, I've been leading educational book discussions at Easton Correctional Institute in Westover, Maryland, with the male inmates promoting literacy. When I began leading the book discussions, I had one male who never spoke and was very quiet and always relied on his peers. After being in the book groups for 2 years, he finally decided to speak with us, and when he spoke, he had been listening the whole time and was engaged and led the conversation and surprised everybody because he was always quiet. He was always listening and engaged, but he surprised us all with everything he spoke about. I find literacy to be extremely important because it allows individuals to share together a common interest, whether that is a civic discussion-based group, which we lead through ECI, or just a common shared interest. Thank you.
It's my error in neglecting to say that because Ms. Brown couldn't be here, Dr. Karen Olmsted, the Provost and Senior VP of Academic Affairs for Salisbury University, accepted in her stead. Adult Illuminary. The Adult Illuminary Award is sponsored by Eastern Shore Regional Library. Will their representative please join us on stage? Susan CANFORA.
Susan CANFORA's work is well known to the Lower Shore community. She's written for the Salisbury Daily Times and is currently a staff writer for the Salisbury Independent. She teaches non-credit courses at Warwick Community College and public speaking at Salisbury University. Her chosen role as a tireless advocate for the highest qualities of the English language informs her work as a journalist of high integrity who performs a great service to the Salisbury community.
Jane Whitmore.
A volunteer literacy coach for Project Read since 2016, Jane works with adult learners who have very low levels of literacy, who struggle with written expression and reading comprehension. In her more challenging situations, Jane works tirelessly for creative and innovative solutions. In her desire to further her skills as a literacy coach, she regularly attends Project Read group events, workshops, and professional training well beyond what might be expected of a volunteer. She also plays an active role in recruiting both learners and tutors to the Project Read program.
Jen Morgan.
As an advocate for a form of exercise that can qualify as physically active, health literacy, Jen Morgan works to improve the mental and physical health of those who participate in her Zumba classes, currently offered at the downtown library to teachers and to Fruitland Primary School. Jen believes that active participation in regular and programmed exercise results in healthier life choices. Her classes are free to library patrons and have proved extremely popular since they started last year.
There is one additional Adult Luminary nominee whom you will hear about a little later in today's program. Right now, presenting the award for this year's Adult Luminary is John Vendetta from the Eastern Shore Regional Library.
It is my pleasure, representing Eastern Shore Regional Library, to present this award to Susan CANFORA.
I am Susan CANFORA. I'm a news reporter with the Salisbury Independent newspaper. Well, having been in the newspaper business 39 years, we promote literacy with every news article we write, and I also teach English and grammar and writing at Salisbury University and also at Warwick Community College, and certainly promote literacy and reading and writing there. Well, for me, literacy started when I was a child. There were always newspapers and books in my house, and my dad taught me how to read by holding me in front of him and reading the comics to me on Sunday mornings. And I remember my mother always reading the paper, my uncle, my mother's high school teacher lived next door to us when I was just a baby. And I remember my dad reading the comics to me before I learned to read, and he would point to the words and say, Dagwood said this, and this was Gasoline Alley, the characters in Gasoline Alley said that. And then when I got old enough to read, I would say, no, Daddy, you missed a word. You have to back up and say the right word. And he said, I guess you're learning to read now, little one, so Daddy can't fool you anymore. So literacy has been a part of my life, books and newspapers, all my life. Literacy is important because it gives us not only pleasure, but it gives us a richness in our lives that we wouldn't have otherwise. It's absolutely essential for the good things in life, for the quality of life that we all should have.
Educator Luminary. The Educator Luminary Award is sponsored by Marilyn and Marty Neat. Will Marty Neat join us on stage? Catherine West.
Awarded a grant to provide every middle school student in Wicomico County with a copy of Kwame Alexander's verse novel, The Crossover, Catherine West wants to inspire discussions of the book's coming-of-age themes among students and their families. The aim of these discussions is to emphasize the importance of the family and the need for students to make the right choices at this important time in their lives.
Mary Kinnaman.
A teacher at North Salisbury School, Mary Kinnaman offers her students some real-world experiences outside of the traditional curriculum. Perhaps her greatest contribution has been conceiving and administering the Business Expo, giving students the experience of conceiving a product and developing a marketing plan. Mary also manages the Destination Imagination program at North Salisbury School.
Tracy Conaway.
Although she is only a part-time employee at the library, Tracy is the Homework Help Center coordinator at the Wicomico Public Library. She recruits and trains volunteers, creating a team which provides participating students with one-on-one and special needs assistance in a supportive environment. Tracy's motto is, "Any student, any subject, come on in."
Amber and Kelly Dorman.
The Dorman sisters are language arts teachers at Mardella Middle School who conduct a weekly after-school book club. Their guiding belief is that through literature for young adults, students realize they're not alone in experiencing the struggles, the frustrations, and joys common to adolescence. The book club provides a safe space for students to discuss how the content of a given book might relate to the questions and issues that inform and affect our lives. To fund book purchases, Amber and Kelly have conducted community fundraisers to supplement an initial startup grant from Barnes & Noble. In making their selections, the Dormans consult book reviews and carefully read each book before it's presented to the club.
Lizanne Wallace.
As the librarian for the Salisbury School, Lizanne works diligently to keep reading and access to information a central part of meaningful student experiences. She has worked with the Student Capstone Project to introduce students to university-level research methods using the resources of the Salisbury University Library. She's an active proponent of the STEAM project, adding the arts to the standard STEM disciplines.
Dr. Donnell Van Holten.
Dr. Van Holten is the Director of Christian Education at St. James AME Zion Church, where she is known for creative program development and innovative approaches that bring joy to the learning process. She serves as Program Director for Horizons, that's a summer enrichment program, and has offered years of dedicated service to the kids of Wicomico County.
Presenting the award for this year's Educator Luminary will be Marty Neat.
Thanks, Scott. Marilyn didn't want to come today because she didn't like some of the things I said last year. So, no, she's on her way back from Fort Benning, Georgia. So she does send her respect and does very much wish she could be here. I think many of you know she's a former teacher and a reading teacher in her career, and I certainly had the opportunity to see how much of a difference that profession makes and the impact that it has on kids. And so it's a real pleasure for Marilyn and I to support the library and to join it in recognizing all of today's nominees. It's really an impressive group. It's said that one person working hard can make a difference. Many people working together can bring about positive change. And the change that we're talking about is the impact that education has on all of us. So we're pleased to recognize today's Educator Luminary Award, the Dorman sisters, Amber and Kelly.
Hi, I'm Amber Dorman and I teach 7th grade English Language Arts at Mardella Middle and High School.
And I'm Kelly Dorman and I teach 6th grade English and Language Arts at Mardella Middle and High School. We are advisors of a middle school book club at Mardella called the Book Brigade. We began about 5 or 6 years ago in partnership with Barnes & Noble, and we've kind of continued working on that. Our main goal is to get books into the hands of kids to create lifelong learners and to create a safe atmosphere where kids can come after school, feel comfortable, talking about reading, their love for reading, and just connect with other book lovers.
We found that the book clubs were such a success after school that we wanted to adapt a version of it in our classrooms, and the same goal is getting books that kids love in their hands and just fostering that love of reading.
And another success story is actually our first group that we ever began book club with. They were 6th graders, and so they've actually come back.
We, when they hit 9th grade, we advertised it as a middle school book club, and we had a few of them come back and say, we're in high school now, can we still be in book club? And the answer, of course, was yes, absolutely. And they have actually turned into mentors for some of our middle school students. They help run the discussions, and they're still very much a part of our middle school book club. They're integral, and a couple of them are graduating soon, and we're going to be sad to see them go, but we've loved having them with us.
So we love what we do at Mardella Middle and High School, and being able to meet with students about books and share our love of reading that we've had since we were middle schoolers. And so we're very thankful for this award.
And we're very blessed to work in a school and with people who promote and support reading. They have enabled us to just spread our love of reading as well, and we are, again, very grateful and thankful for this award.
Thank you.
The STEM Literary Award is sponsored by PNC Bank. Will their representative please join us on stage? M4 Reactor.
M4 Reactor was created in 2016 to provide a maker space for creative ideas that utilize skill sets like robotics, 3D printing, laser cutting, and coding. Members are offered training in the use of specialized components as well as basic metal and woodshop tools. Over the last 3 years, approximately 200 students, including at-risk youth, have participated in this program. M4 Reactor encourages the pursuit of knowledge in STEAM topics necessary to a well-prepared 21st century workforce. Under the direction of Kevin Justice, the driving force behind this highly innovative undertaking, summer camp offerings have expanded and funding has been secured to create a mobile STEM lab that will travel to an area schools and playgrounds.
Girl Scouts of the Chesapeake Bay.
The Girl Scouts of the Chesapeake Bay has embraced the importance of STEM education for young women by creating programs that focus on STEM disciplines. These include programs like Engineering Your Tomorrow, developed through a partnership with DuPont, Women in Aviation, Explore the Magic of Motion, and the Wonders of Water, a program that emphasizes the importance of environmental stewardship for our local lakes and estuaries.
Dr. Chad Pavlikovich.
Known as a highly gifted educator and charismatic leader, well in the forefront of STEM education, Dr. Pavlikovich is known not only for his ability to inoculate the basic tenets of the STEM disciplines, but also for infusing into the minds of young students the value of teamwork in the brainstorming process. He serves on the boards of M4 Reactor, is an active participant and promoter of Minds in Motion, and is the founder of Next Gen STEM Academy at Salisbury Middle School.
Presenting the award for this year's STEM Literacy Luminary will be Laura Rodriguez from PNC Bank.
Thank you all. PNC Bank is pleased to announce this year's STEM Literacy Award to M4 Reactor.
Good morning, I'm Kevin Justice, founder and executive director of M4 Reactor, the Shore's only community makerspace. Before founding M4 Reactor, I created a class where I was providing robotics training to kids in high school, and that really gave me the idea to expand out from there. It snowballed into what M4 Reactor is today, where we provide training to kids from homeschool to after school and summer programs, as well as STEM training for adults and workforce training as well. STEM literacy is a core component of M4 Reactor. Thank you very much for this award.
Now please join me in a round of applause for all our nominees and award winners. And thank you to my co-host Erica Murphy from WMDT. At this time, would Dr. Maida Finch please join us on the stage? Liz Bellavance, whom I'm sure many of you knew, was an educator, social activist, and patron of the arts. She embodied the belief that all lives are valued. Liz's defining quality was her unique ability to connect meaningfully with those she met, whether they were college students, migrant workers, or senior citizens. She was a founding member of radio station WSCL, served several terms on the board of Wicomico Public Libraries, spearheaded outreach work with the Hispanic community, and was a leader in many different arts and education programs. Her life was a testimony to the power of passion in action. Years ago, the board decided that they would reserve an award, not given every year, but to deserving awardees at the Light of Literacy program.
Good morning. The Board of Wicomico Public Libraries values these qualities and seeks to honor the dedication to service that exemplified Liz Bellavance's life. We are pleased to present the Liz Bellavance Legacy Award to a recipient who embodies Ms. Bellavance's compassion and work ethic. The individual we honor with this year's award has dedicated her adult life to the education and well-being of children. Following her graduation from Bowie State University, she taught for 42 years in Worcester and Wicomico counties. When she retired, she turned her formidable energy to the transition of the former Morris Street Colored Elementary School, where she once taught, into the Fruitland Community Center. She has volunteered thousands of hours working diligently to expand and develop its tutorial program. Although she professes, in her own words, to being 2 generations behind in the technology students use today, she is far from out of touch regarding their current needs. Recently, her associate at the center, Ms. Alexis DeShield, has implemented a STEM program to encourage students to develop skills in science, technology, engineering, and math skills. At age 99, and celebrating her 100th next month, she remains firmly committed to her work at the center. She is guided by her conviction that young people should aspire to the highest level of success and be encouraged to reach goals they may otherwise have considered unattainable. For her service, her recognition has included the Community Foundation's 2011 Volunteer of the Year, the Fruitland Chamber of Commerce Citizen of the Year, the Maryland J.C.'s Outstanding Senior Citizen, the 4-Way Test Award from the Rotary Club of Salisbury, and the prestigious 2018 Salisbury Award. Can there be any doubt remaining about whom we speak? It is our pleasure to present this year's Liz Bellavance Legacy Award to Mrs. Mary Gladys Jones.
This is the Fruitland Community Center, Mary Gladys Jones, who began an after-school program for at-risk children in 1985. We have been here since then, and many, many children have passed through, and some of them have been very, very successful. It's been a wonderful journey. We've had many success stories, but one stands out. We got a little girl who was about 8 years old who came in, and she could not pronounce words with one syllable. We began to work with her, and it was amazing that one Sunday morning she stood up in the church and read the scripture and said that she had become the student of the month at her school. I was absolutely thrilled with that. Can you imagine what she would have missed had she not come here and been able to learn how to read and to focus, and she went on to become a nurse. And we're just so very, very happy when we have success stories of this type that we can share. Literacy is very, very important. I think about the many worlds that I've been able to travel into because I could read. Each day I give thanks that I can read.
On behalf of the board, we'd like to thank Erica Murphy and Scott Duncan for leading us through this morning's celebration of literacy luminaries. and also thank Susan Bounds and Audrey Orr for their extraordinary efforts at organizing and planning this event. At this time, I'd like to ask Dr. Karen Olmsted, the Provost and Senior Vice President of Academic Affairs at Salisbury University, to join me on the stage to introduce today's speaker.
Good morning. What a just absolutely inspiring day. So I'm so happy to be here with everyone and hear about these wonderful nominees and awardees. It's my genuine pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Doug Martin. As you can read in your program, Doug is a senior engineer at the Virginia Commercial Space Flight Authority, and I can imagine, based on the news I've been reading, it's been kind of a busy month down there, so we're thrilled to have Doug with us today. He's been with the Wallops Flight Facility and related contractors for many years, and he's a graduate of local institutions including Y-High and the physics program at Salisbury University, which I think is kind of cool with this STEM theme that certainly the Henson Foundation has supported the Henson School of Science and Technology at Salisbury University, in which the physics program sits. I know I speak for all the educators in the room, and in that I'm including all library-affiliated staff and leadership and all the organizations here today that support learning and literacy when I say that there's no greater satisfaction than seeing our students and graduates go off to successfully pursue their dream careers, and Doug has certainly done that. I mean, the one thing that might be an even greater joy, though, is seeing our students and graduates give back to the community, and Doug is certainly an outstanding example of that. He's been active in many science outreach programs, including, as noted in your program, the ThinSat program, in which students work on small satellites for truly remote sensing up in the sky. And I think also importantly, faculty both at the middle school and high school and university level have worked on curricula around that. So I'd like to, in introducing Doug, I'd like to thank him for reaching back and supporting the development of tomorrow's STEM workforce. Please join me in welcoming Doug Martin to the podium.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to extend my thanks to Wicomico Public Library for inviting me to this very special occasion. I'd also like to congratulate all the nominees and award recipients. You guys are doing fantastic work, and keep it up. Just some background information on me. I'd like to talk to you about how STEM has affected my life. I'd like to refer to myself as local produce. I am born and raised from Salisbury, born right over at PRMC. Shout out to PRMC, anybody? And I went to Y-High and SU, as stated before, and decided to stay in the area. And I've been working down at NASA Wallops for a little over 9 years now. Before you ask me, I probably don't know your family member, neighbor, cousin who works down there. Despite it being kind of the best kept secret on the shore, it's actually kind of a very big place. As stated before, I'm currently a senior engineer working for the Virginia Commercial Space Flight Authority. Working at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport, or as we like to call it, Mars, where we recently had the NG-11 launch on April 17th. It was also the inaugural voyage for the ThinSat program. And when I grew up on the shore, STEM wasn't really a thing. I had the introduction to many of the STEM fields through grade school, but I had a little extra inspiration before that. Through TV, I like to watch Bill Nye the Science Guy and Beakman's World, which were fantastic TV shows. They helped introduce kids to STEM topics and even went the extra mile and made them entertaining. Comic books and video games also were a big deal in my life, Saturday morning cartoons, and they provided gateways into other worlds with endless possibilities. When I was a kid, there was almost a stigma if you liked STEM fields, you were called a geek or a nerd, but nowadays I think it's, times are changing for the better, and it's kind of cool to be a nerd nowadays. One of the things for computer games, you almost required a computer science degree in order to boot up something as simple as SimCity 2000. You had to put in the disk, restart the computer in MS-DOS, change the directory, make sure that the computer was looking at the disk, all of which is done automatically nowadays. So, video game consoles weren't much better. You almost need an electrical engineering degree to make sure you didn't kill yourself. You had to make sure you were hooked up to the antenna, you were flipped onto channel 3, and then make sure you had the audio and video cables hooked up correctly. And even if that didn't work, sometimes you had to give it a little on the cartridge. I think everybody has some experience with that. Now, everything I had that I'd been involved in wasn't specifically tied to being inside. I also had outdoor activities that I participated in. I went to YMCA camp, 4-H, did some Cub Scouts, went camping. I did yard work with my parents. Yes, it did help. I'd helped my dad with projects around the house, and also was involved with sports. Now, even though these specific activities weren't overtly educational in their delivery, they were activities that later helped me make the connection in the classroom because I could relate it to the things that I had already experienced and been exposed to. I knew that if I wanted to tackle an opposing player in football, I had to get down low and get leverage on them, so that's a little bit of physics there, and I can attribute that to my coach, Ron White. I knew the difference between ferns, lilies, yuccas, and most importantly, poison ivy. I think everybody has their own story about that. I can thank my mom for that. And most importantly, I learned about the relationship of electricity and magnetism when my dad actually helped me recreate an experiment that I had read about in one of my science books that I had. And even though it was just picking up paper clips in my garage with a screwdriver that was wrapped in a wire, to me, it was like I was Magneto from X-Men. And if you don't know who that is, it's pretty cool. I'd been lucky that I was introduced to these concepts and experience at such an early age, and I could start making these connections in my mind and really developing an interest and, more importantly, a curiosity about how things worked. This led to trips to the library, orders with the Scholastic Book Fair, and even a book that was made just for me. It's a simple book. It's called The Space Adventure, and it was actually printed with my name inside the book as the main protagonist. I went to a space center, and I got to try on a spacesuit, got accidentally launched into space. It happens. And while I was up there, I happened to save the Earth from some unfriendly UFOs. And I landed safely to a hero's welcome. And I was 6 when my parents gave me this book. And, to me as a kid, having my name in a book, that was the coolest thing ever, right? I was legit in a book. And keep in mind all these experiences that I'm telling you about today came from my early childhood, and we didn't have fast internet or even smartphones. Nowadays, NASA live streams launches over YouTube. We can video conference with the space station. On social media, you can follow astronauts, astrophysicists. You can search for science events in the area on the shore. Third Friday, sometimes we have a science themed month. The M4 reactor guys are here. Fantastic resources that I would have loved growing up as a kid. We also have YouTube channels that are entirely dedicated to science. I would have loved to have had a Destination Imagination, the robotics club at Parkside that I just learned about, and Lego League would have been an obsession for me. I can tell you that my parents could probably literally walk on lava to this day and not even flinch because of the number of Legos that they've stepped on. And as we speak, I do have the firehouse from Ghostbusters built entirely out of Legos in my basement. And that's a recent purchase. So fast forward to today. I've supported construction and operation and maintenance of Pad 0A and every Antares launch to the International Space Station from that site. I've launched several solid rockets from our Pad 0B, including LADEE, which is the Lunar Atmospheric Dust Environment Explorer, which orbited the moon a couple times and gathered detailed information about the lunar atmosphere that led to the observation of water vapor being ejected from the lunar surface when impacted by meteor showers. That was launched from Wallops Island. One of the main things that I wanted to talk to you about that I'm particularly proud of is being the mission manager for the Virginia Space ThinSat program. I'm in charge of the NG-13 mission. We just launched aboard the NG-11 Antares launch. And we have SU and Salisbury Middle participating in that program for the NG-13 mission. If you don't know about it, it's a STEM outreach program that allows students a chance to learn about spaceflight systems and actually send payloads to extreme low Earth orbit. Now, the thin sets themselves are only about the dimensions of a slice of bread. They go together in what we call a loaf inside a container that will dispense them when the second stage of the Antares rocket, the motor separates from the Cygnus payload. It turns around and it fires them back at Earth, and you get a couple days of actual extreme low Earth orbit. I was lucky that one of my payloads actually sent back data too, so I was just as surprised as everybody else. Like I said, NG-11 was the inaugural mission for that, so we're still kind of going through some of the data. So if you guys have questions for me afterwards, I don't have a lot to give you, but it was fairly successful, we can call. Now, while my job right now is really cool, and I've been supporting some really amazing missions over the past 9 years, it really wouldn't have been possible unless I had that initial spark of curiosity about STEM-related fields that led me to where I am today. So with that, I'd like to encourage each one of you to try to continue to be that spark in somebody's life today. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug, for sharing your story and illustrating the importance of early exposure to literacy and being curious about STEM education. It's now my great pleasure to introduce Wicomico Public Library's Executive Director, Ashley Teagle. Many of you already know Ashley, who joined us in January this year. She grew up in Salisbury and relocated to Southern Maryland to begin her career as a librarian. Since 2012, she has worked as a public services librarian, reference supervisor, and branch manager in Charles County. We feel that her professional experiences and enthusiasm support our mission of making libraries welcoming and inclusive community centers that provide a safe place for learning, discovering, and connecting with resources to enrich and empower. Please welcome Ashley as she closes today's event by sharing some exciting plans for our libraries.
Good morning, everyone. I'll keep this brief. First, to the Friends, Board of Trustees, elected officials, and most of all our community that support and encourage literacy in Wicomico County, thank you for participating in this event today and also all year round. I would also like to thank Tom Heyman and Andrea Burstler, our previous two directors, for being here today. Their continued commitment to literacy has not gone unnoticed. I'm glad to be home in my new role as Executive Director of Wicomico Public Libraries. When I go out in the community, I see opportunities for us to reach people that we have not reached before. I see the chance to develop a partnership that we might not have considered previously. I see the possibilities and what might seem impossible. Thanks to SU's Beacon Report, we now have a better picture of our value to the community. That's usually hard for us librarians to do, partly because we're not so great at math. So for every dollar that's invested in our public library, our community sees a $5.40 return on that investment. That is important for our community to know. Your public library isn't a waste of your tax dollars. In fact, we're probably the most efficient use of your tax resources. We are a partner in education, a neutral place to bring our community together, and a great place to hang out to discover something new. 2019 is special to us as we embark on our 150th anniversary. As our staff has researched our history, we have learned the library was founded only 2 years after the county itself. By 1925, the same year Maryland State Normal School, now known as Salisbury University, was established, our community recognized the need for a free library. We've been going ever since. It is with this long history behind us that we are poised to take our library to the next level. Our staff is a creative and dedicated team who anticipates the needs of our community. That's why you'll find lawyers in the library, and you can ask me about that later. At the heart of our library is you. If we didn't have our customers, we would cease to exist. Throughout 2019, I invite you to celebrate with us. Keep an eye on your emails and our events calendar as we embark on a celebration of Wicomico Public Libraries all year long. Thank you again for being here, and on your way out, please grab a complimentary tote featuring our 150th anniversary logo. Thank you.